everyone. Welcome to Work Love Wednesday. Sam Smeltzer here for Work Love Wednesday. It is time for Work Love Wednesday. Hi Facebook. Hi Instagram. Sam Smeltzer here. And it is Wednesday, which means it's time for some work love. I'm trying to see where to put you so that Instagram and Facebook can see me equally. Ooh, let's try that. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So what's new? Well, this weekend I went away for 4 days to start my medical Qigong training. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really quite sure what to expect. I went in with a very open mind, as I have with a lot of my personal self-healing journey. And I was blown away. I'm super duper excited about what's to come on that journey and continuing that journey and continuing to grow. Not only that, but incorporating what I learned into my personal practice. And I cannot wait to see what healing happens as a result. So one of the things that I'm doing, and I'm very big on this, is if you're local at Leadership Arts Associates, I try to integrate things that I'm using as my personal practice to share them with others. Most of you that are in the business world, especially in the self-help business world, know that as we heal ourselves, we attract others who are doing the same sort of healing work. And so a lot of the work that I do with my clients is sharing things that I have gone through, tips, trainings, and techniques. And so with things like yin yoga and Qigong, as I'm doing them, I want to bring them in an avenue to share them with you and hopefully heal with everyone. So we already started doing yin yoga classes at Leadership Arts. So they're every Thursday from 5:45 to 7:30. It's a beautiful practice. You'll leave very relaxed and ready to go to bed. And then we also do them on Saturdays at 8:15 till 9:30. The classes I've kept very small, so I can max out at about 8. Typically, we end up with about 4 people, and I do that on purpose. You know, Leadership Arts Associates is not a yoga studio. It is a place, a safe place to learn tools, tips, and techniques for you to heal yourself. And so the yoga classes are also I think they're advertised on this page too, that if you're watching this on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, go find my Facebook page because it will have a link there. Or you can go to leadershipisart.com /yin, Y-I-N, and learn more about that. And even, I think I did a little video on the bottom that shares why I am really passionate about yin. But it's a beautiful, beautiful practice. And I really enjoy when people come as an instructor, being able to spoil you and really put you in a place of restoration and rejuvenation and healing work as we stretch not even stretch, but just work on the fascia and the connective tissues that are between the muscles that we engage on a regular basis in our heavily yang-filled lives for most of us. Needing that balance is very necessary and bringing that yin in. So look at this weird curl. It's really predominant on the camera. And then I'm in the process of getting ready to advertise for Qigong. So Qigong is going to be every Tuesday and Thursday at Leadership Arts Associates for the time being as I'm integrating that practice. It's going to be at lunchtime from 12 to 12:45, so 45 minutes, so that if you want to come during lunchtime, you can do that. The really cool thing that I discovered about Qigong this weekend is that you can do it in like regular clothes. So you can do it in your work clothes, and you heat up because of the chi, of the energy, so that happens. But I always stayed like a really nice temperature, so I didn't get like gross like you would at the gym when you're working out. So it's a great lunchtime practice, and it's going to really give you the chi that you need to finish your work day and be with your loved ones and all those. And then, so that will be from 12 to 12:45. And then I'm going to integrate a half an hour healing sounds practice that will be from 1 to 1:30. So if people want to stay from 12 to 1:30, you certainly can. But I was introduced to healing sounds, and I'm really excited about this and the potential that it has to do some really awesome energetic purging that I think is really necessary for me, but also for several people out there. So those are coming probably starting next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I'm really, really excited. And if it's not a testament in its own of how excited I am, because I'm sharing about it in my weekly kind of update. That's just where I'm at. I came back and I'm just pumped up. And then you do some Qigong practices and I get more pumped up. So it's just really, really good. So no surprise at all that after sitting through 4 days of very intense training, and as I'm trying to take the pieces that are getting thrown at me and thinking about how they relate to everything else that I have been absorbing and processing for the last, my gosh, this is year 5 of this really intense journey, and Leadership Arts kind of serves as that incubator for me. So grateful to have that incubator of Leadership Arts Associates that's allowed me to do so much healing work on myself, and then allowing me to expand that out to other people and to organizations. It's just wonderful. So anytime I integrate a new practice per se, I'm always trying to look at the bigger picture. I'm always looking at how the new information integrates with what I've already kind of seen and known and gravitated towards and really truly believe. And so this weekend, sitting through 4, 8-hour days, learning about the theory behind medical Qigong and the exercises and the philosophies of why Qigong does what it does. One of the things that really resonated with me was, once again, revisiting this concept of emotions and the concept of the heart. And so let me start with talking about emotions. Emotions have always, no pun intended, had a really close place to my heart. And if you've read my first book, From Heart to Heart, I spent a lot of time talking about being a child, feeling way too much, and talking about this idea of the cry of the banshee, and how I would constantly have these almost explosive, overflowing, tantrum-like things of emotions. And at the time, the only way I could get them to stop was crying, and not only just crying, but these horrible, ugly cries of my childhood. And I spent a lot of time back then thinking that my healing was to make myself stronger by not crying, by, thinking people viewed me as a weak individual as I cried all the time, which is not the norm. So growing up in school, I mean, the crying kind of fades as you get older into grade school. And I would just have these massive kind of emotional breakdowns that would help to reset me. And so I worked very hard to undo that. But what's interesting is, in that book, I started to realize how the outbursts were a significant sign or symptom of an event that had happened that was very much a milestone. In fact, yesterday I was talking with Tony Hernandez from Reflective Wisdom, and he rents space in our office, so I get the pleasure of mingling with him on a weekly basis. But him talking about these guidepost moments, which are basically moments in your life that you could probably replay like a slow part, like a movie in slow motion, because they're so monumental. And it doesn't matter how trivial the actions are, they are monumental to you. And using these big emotional tantrums, I was able to identify what some of those guidepost moments were. And that's really what's in From Heart to Heart. I didn't know it when I was writing it. I didn't know what was coming out, but it was really allowing me to reflect and go back and identify those guideposts. So I've always truly believed, or one of my big aha moments, is that emotions especially when we have really strong reactions, they are signs that we need to pay attention to something. The bigger the reaction and the more of the wake-up call. Yesterday, I was just talking to somebody about the concept of boundaries and how when we're triggered and we have emotional reactions, that's a sign that either someone is violating our boundary or we're in violation of a personal boundary that we have. And emotions are just this wonderful, beautiful symptom that we can have. And this weekend, we get to talk about, the 3 capacities of Qigong. What we're really always looking at is maximizing Qi or energy, which, I'm a big believer that everything has energy. So energy in the body, and doing that through basically, number 1, purging, regulatory, which is, distributing the energy evenly throughout the body, and then tonifying, which is increasing our level of energy. But purging was very interesting to me because purging, wanting to get rid of the bad energy, the bad juju, the bad chi that you have going on was so critical to the process. They compared it to, before you're going to decorate the house, you want to make sure that you clean it out before you go in and do all the bells and whistles. And so the purging piece that was so integral. And when they talked about purging, it's not just, we get all obsessed about these physical cleanses, which are very needed. Like, we do need physical cleansing that happens. We need to also cleanse our homes, and the cleaning and all that stuff is very needed as well. But we don't ever talk about this emotional purging, about things that are really deep rooted, that are what cause us to build these elaborate stories in our workplaces and in our lives as to why we think that someone cares for us or doesn't care for us, if we're worthy, if we're not worthy, if we're good enough, if we're not good enough. We come up with stories that funnel our reactions, and those are really embedded in deep rooted emotions that we carry with ourselves after we have an interaction, and we can determine a feeling. Early on when I learned about how stories are formed, I'm very lucky that I had a couple of teachers who talked about this. Every day of our life, we have an experience. We have what actually happened in that experience. And then we have kind of what we tell ourselves happened that generates our emotional reaction. So there's an emotion that's always attached to our experiences, no matter how small or how big. And so it's that collection of those emotions that start to build up, and we don't even know it until then we have these weird kind of triggers that happen where we snap at people, or we just realize that we are irritated all the time or have a high level of irritability. And so this weekend, one of the things that was fascinating to me as we talked about energy meridians that run through your body and what happens when they're clogged, and with the organs and the emotions that are attached to organs that are not balanced, realizing the symptoms that could come out of that. Like, for example, talking about the liver. The liver is an organ that I know that I've had to do a lot of work on physically. So for the past 30 days, I've been doing a lot. Well, I shouldn't even say that. For the past almost year now, I've been doing a lot of things that are around restoring health to the liver, knowing that there was just a lot of things digestive-wise, that my liver was just, it needed to be cleansed. Let's just leave it there. This is not a physical wellness kind of talk. But so I know that I've had that, even if we talk about when the body heals and when the body works on those parts of the body. When I was having disturbances in my sleep patterns, that was during the primary healing time for the liver. So there was a lot of signs that kind of reaffirmed that for me. This weekend, I learned that the emotion acquired from the liver being out of balance is associated around anger, and irritation and frustration, which I have those that periodically bubble up. And so all those kind of being pieced together and talking about how that integrates. So I say that because I want you to pay attention to emotions that you have. I know that I am right now, and seeing them through a whole nother lens of how my emotional reactions to things are a sign of my personal health, whether on a physical, an emotional, on a mental or a spiritual level. because our emotions are one of the greatest signs that we have, or symptoms that we have, to kind of help guide us. I mean, our body is truly this incredible kind of vessel that helps us navigate life, and allows us to reach our capacity and our potential if we are able to take care of it. And so that's something that has been a very big, a very, very big passion of mine lately. And just diving into that more and more and trying to sort through, what does that mean, to be able to take care of our bodies, to be able to reach our full potential and our capacity, and to get to where we want to be, and to live the life that we want to live, and to just live life with, in simplistic forms, less drama and more true living. Yeah. So this links directly to the heart topic. Heart has shown up all around. It was the title of my first book. It's kind of built into a brand for me. So this HR art word, which is, I spell it heart, but it has a whole nother set of meaning as to this blend between self-care and professional aspirations. And I once again realized, and I've known this for a while, the heart has the ability, whether you're going to talk heart chakra, heart organ, it just seems like the heart has so much ability to hold on to things. And we're talking about these deep-rooted emotions. The heart has them. There's some belief systems, if you believe in reincarnation or past lives, that those are held there as well. And unfinished business is there. The grudges that we hold when people hurt us, when we talk about just suppressing something and holding on to it, it hangs out in the heart. And the need for purging that. And so one of the things that was quite strange for me this weekend, but also almost liberating for me, is when we were purging the heart using the healing sounds technique, my eyes would just instantly water and almost a beautiful kind of tear-like release. And as I've started that practice, even at home, using those healing sounds, particularly around the heart organ, I find that there's it's like just so much energetic stagnation that has been there that is being released. And it's very powerful. And I don't fully comprehend everything that is there, but I can tell you that I feel so much lighter at the end. And I think a lot of us underestimate how much we hold in our heart, how much is there, and how much those pains and the stories of heartbreak take a toll on us. And if we don't find a way to heal them or to release them, we carry them throughout our lives, and we carry them throughout our interactions, and they impact our future relationships. They impact our relationship with ourselves and how we view ourselves. And so it's this, for me, it was just this major kind of aha moment that I wanted to share, and I think just verbalize and talk about out loud, because I think I needed to do that, but really to let you think. And I believe that, mental health professionals, whether it is counseling or therapy or whatever those modes are, those support groups, the reason why they're so beneficial, it gives you a safe place to have an outlet to share what's all built up in your heart, and finding a way to start that healing process, even if it's through sadness and grief, or anger. But at the root of it is, how is it impacting your ability to love, I guess, at the end of it. And that's how I view it, is all that stuff in there impacts my ability to have a really strong relationship with my husband, with my best friend, with my clients, with my children. And so I guess I'll just leave it with that, a literal love moment for Work Love Wednesday. But I ask you, be conscious this week. Get curious about what you're feeling and when you're feeling it. And even a little curious about what potentially you're holding on to in your heart, and what might be an appropriate place for you to start some healing work so that you can get closer to where you want to be. So have a fantastic week. And if you're in York and you want to come to Yin tomorrow, I have spaces. Make sure you register and come join me on Thursday or on Saturday. And then watch the page, because later on today, I'll be talking about the Qigong classes and the healing sounds that we'll be doing twice a week at Leadership Arts starting next week. So have a great day. Bye, everyone.